Thank you. And now to one of Saudi Arabia's most unsettled neighbors. The White House is now considering whether to grant a huge favor to the outgoing president of Yemen, a nation that's been a launchpad for terror attacks on this country. A senior U.S. official says that President Ali Abdullah Saleh has asked to undergo medical treatment on American soil. He reportedly suffered serious injuries in an assassination attempt at his presidential compound in the capital of Sana'a back in June. Of course, this could pose problems for the White House. Saleh has faced months of riots from angry demonstrators calling for him to step down. He has agreed to a U.S.-backed deal that would remove him from power early next year, but analysts say to take that promise with a grain of salt. At the same time, there are still many unanswered questions about Yemen's ties to terrorism and the potential threat from al-Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula. Joining us now from the New York newsroom is Katie McFarland. She is the former Assistant Deputy Defense Secretary for the Reagan administration and a Fox News national security analyst. And Katie, I got to tell you, kind of a pickle for the U.S. because, you know, Saleh says he wants to come here for treatment, right, but a lot of anti-government protesters in Yemen say, no, this is someone seeking asylum and safe harbor, yes, and they want him put on trial for crimes against his people.
Yeah, and you know, his country is boiling over. And why is that important? Why do we even care? Yemen is a country that doesn't have, you know, any oil. It's a country that's quite poor, but its whole location. You just talked about Iran and how Iran's nuclear program is spooking Saudi Arabia to think that maybe they should get nuclear weapons as well. Well, on Saudi Arabia's southern border is Yemen. Yemen is a country that's now fraught by all the 30 tribes who are fighting each other. And as you point out, Saleh, the president, is seeking medical treatment in the United States. It's probably a dodge to get out of the country so that he doesn't end up, you know, like Egypt's Mubarak did, on trial for his life.
Yeah, you talk about this, and nobody knows the Middle Eastern chessboard better than you do, KT. So give me an idea of how you play this. I mean, do you watch as Yemen kind of boils over, as you said, or do you try to do something? How important is it to the United States that Yemen become more secure and stable?
Oh, it's very important for the United States. Why? Because not only is Yemen on that peninsula with Saudi Arabia, but Yemen is where al-Qaeda has set up shop. You know, al-Qaeda Prime, the al-Qaeda that was in Afghanistan and then moved to Pakistan, the bin Laden al-Qaeda, that's now given way to the al-Qaeda franchises. And the most important of those al-Qaeda franchises is right there in Yemen. So instability in Yemen gives a great opportunity for al-Qaeda to get an even bigger footprint in that region. And again, why is that important? Well, they could use that as a launching pad to cause instability in Saudi Arabia, but also right across from Yemen is Somalia, another country, a failed state through which and there's a narrow strait of water through which an awful lot of the world's oil and natural gas flows, just like it does between Saudi Arabia and Iran.
Right. But we need this government to transition, right, KT? And there's no guarantee that Saleh's going to leave power anytime soon. No
guarantee that he's going to leave. There's no guarantee that if he stays, he could keep everything in order. You know, the former head of the CIA, General Hayden, once said to me, you know, President Saleh of Yemen, don't think of him as a president. Think of him as a circus juggler. He's juggling the different tribes. He's paying off one tribe. He's giving another tribe weapons, another tribe access to oil revenues. Without Saleh, without a strong leader, it's very unlikely that Yemen becomes a stable country.
KT, I got to go, but do we let him come to the United States for medical treatment?
Here's the question. If you let him in, like we let the Shah of Iran in after he fell in 1979, within a few months, the Iranians seized American diplomats hostage. What might happen to any Americans in Yemen if we do grant safe harbor? I think it's a tough call.
Yeah. KT McFarland, great to see you. Thank you.
Thanks, Trace.